why. Something that may happen when you start trick training is that you want to introduce your horse to some fun new objects or equipment to help with your trick training. And your horse may be a bit scared or nervous of that object, so you want to get them used to it. Now, I was brought up around a lot of horse trainers that were racehorse trainers, and they believed that the best way to get a horse used to something was just to force it onto them. So a lot of the time they would put them in a round yard, they would tie them down, they would get them in a small spot, and they would just push the item at them, and the horse would be so scared, but they just kept pushing the item at them until the horse eventually got used to it. Or sometimes they just didn't get used to it, they just tolerated it. But the whole thing was a very scary experience for the horse. The horse couldn't get away, the horse was trapped, which, as everyone would know, is just very frightening for the horse. So what I like to do is I actually like to do the complete opposite of that, and that is to train in a really large paddock like this, and if the horse is frightened of something, I don't put any restraints on them whatsoever. I let them, if they want to move away from the object, they can, and then they can come back and explore it in their own time. So they're never forced. And I actually think that this is safer. The racehorse trainers used to say that, oh, it's really safe because you know you can control them and they can't go crazy, and you've got them tied down and you've got them in a small spot, and you know it's much safer for everybody. But I actually think this is a lot safer, because if the horse is starting to get really worried about something, they can just move away from me and the object. You find that this won't work if you don't have some sort of relationship and trust with your horse already. You need that basic level of trust, so that I will show something to my horses. They know I'm not going to hurt them, I've never hurt them. They know that I won't force them to come and look at it or restrain them in any way, and so they'll actually, curiosity will usually get the better of them, and they'll come over and check the item out. So what this whole video came about was because I actually want to teach Bella to do a few things like twirling and backing by putting a rope around her legs and things like that, not tying it down, but just holding it there gently. And she's really worried about a rope on the ground or near her legs. So I'm not sure what's happened in her past. Perhaps she's got caught up somehow, but she's really quite terrified about it. So rather than just, you know, wrapping around, forcing her again, putting her in that round yard, I've just been working with her out in the open paddock. And whereas I couldn't really get her anywhere near the rope when it was on the ground or was moving on the ground, she's getting much better. And I'll show you, it's now been a couple of days since we've been working on that, and I'll show you what she's like now. But you'll see, no restraint, she can move away, and she probably will. She'll get a bit frightened, and I know that maybe, you know, I've asked too much of her, so I'll just back off a little bit and let her come round and investigate it. And it's just that, allowing them to move away and come back, move away and come back. It's just a great way to train. There's no fear, well, there's a little bit of nervousness from the horse, but it's not that overwhelming, terrifying feeling that they get when they're restrained and held down. So anyway, I'll show you working with Bella with this really scary little rope. Good girl. Okay, wait. You used to be so scared of this. Hey, you're all good now, are you? Good girl. What a good girl, standing there like a good girl. Good girl. Okay, so she's making an absolute and total liar out of me. Like, I swear, 2 days ago, I could not get near her with this rope. I'm going to end up whacking myself, not her. A whip cracker I am not. She just wanted to spin around and have a look at it, didn't you? Hey, you wanted to spin around and have a look at it. Ooh. What was that? Oh, that's starting to get a bit scary. That's starting to get a bit scary, isn't it? Hey? So she can go away, she can check it out from all angles, there's no force. And when she comes back, she gets a marker and she gets a treat. And we go again. Wait. Good girl. Oh, you are such a clever girl. Aren't you? See, I think this is so much safer than tying them down and having them in a small yard and having them freak out. So much better. Good girl. You are a good girl? Ooh, that was a bit scary, wasn't it? And I think we'll leave it there for today. Want to give me a kiss? Good girl. Hey? Good girl. Okay. Free.